Hi, I'm Emily Epp, Manager of Communications at the Cariboo Regional District.
And I'm Mike McCulley with the BC Wildfire Service here in Williams Lake.
This is today's video update for August the 16th, and Mike's just going to start us off with a bit of an overview.
Yeah, certainly. So I would just like to talk to folks a little bit about an unfortunate record that we broke today in the province of BC. We have officially crossed the line into the worst fire season in the history of the province in terms of hectares that are impacted. We have now seen over 895,000 hectares impacted by wildfire. That is roughly 3 times the size of Greater Vancouver. Previous record from 1958 was 855,000 hectares. Unfortunately, we have a lot of fire season left to go, and that number will continue to climb as we move forward.
And just wondering a bit about the weather.
Yeah, certainly. So I did wake up to some precipitation today, which was good news. We did see trace amounts of rain starting from the Tautri fire and moving to the east. We saw a little more to the east than we did in the Tautri area. Trace amounts here and 5 to 10 millimeters up in the Kleena Lakes area. So while that does increase the humidity and help calm things a wee little bit, it cools the fine fuels on the ground. It certainly doesn't do much to reduce the drought codes, but we'll take what we can get. And looking forward, we're hoping for more. So again, looking forward, what we're watching is this cold front system that's going to move in off the coast. We expect that to move through the fire center area starting Friday morning, probably about 5 in the morning out in the west. And that's going to cause us some increased winds, which will result in growth on our fires and increased fire activity. Unfortunately, the predictors are showing very little precipitation for the western portion of the Cariboo Fire Center area. We will see a little more again on the eastern portions and up into the north, but for the west, not so much. That will again cause increased fire behavior activity, and our crews will be watching that very closely.
Thanks, Mike. In terms of some CRD updates from today, we were pleased that due to the reduced wildfire risk, we were able to downgrade the evacuation order for a couple areas, specifically around Anaheim Lake area, including Nimple Lake and Charlotte Lake. It's important to note that the Gacho First Nation does remain on evacuation order. That's based on the decision by Chief and Council for their own area. As well, Highway 20 does remain closed, but there is some piloting options available to you. So if you are looking to get through that area, please check drivebc.ca for the most up-to-date information about Highway 20. We also were able to downgrade an evacuation order to an alert for the West Fraser Road area. So for residents who are returning to evacuation alert areas, just a reminder that you're on alert to remain prepared, and we're pleased that we could get you back home today. Also, Mike, if you wanted to just give us some more fire updates.
Sure, so I'll start with Elephant Hill. It's one we get a lot of questions about. So with Elephant Hill, I just wanted to clarify that the fire has not yet entered the Cariboo Regional District area. It is still south of Green Lake. The south, west, and east flanks of that fire have been fairly stable. They have survived a few wind events, and we're feeling comfortable with those. But the northern head of that fire is still very active, very large, very dangerous, and challenging our crews. The northern head includes 2 small fingers to the northeast and northwest. So our tactic again there will be to put our resources where they're needed most. We're going to be building guard line out ahead of the front of that fire, and when the conditions allow, we'll be burning the fuel back towards the head in an effort to, try to get containment on that. And unfortunately, with the higher humidities, the conditions for controlled ignition weren't exactly right today. We're going to keep looking at that as we move forward. Further onto the Elephant Hill fire, we know that we're getting a lot of folks from Clinton calling in and reporting smoke to the east. These are within the Elephant Hill fire complex. We do know that it's disconcerting to folks to see that, obviously, but we appreciate when they call fires in, but in this case we are aware that they're within the Elephant Hill fire complex. That fuel, pockets of fuel and pieces that hadn't burned in the fire are now catching fire and burning out and burning off, and that's reducing the risk for folks. So thank you for calling those in, but be sure that we are aware of those and our crews are watching them closely. So that's the story on Elephant Hill today. I'll now move out west a little bit and we'll talk about the Tautri Lake fire. 120,000 hectares in size. It did see a little bit of precipitation this morning, but again, very foggy and very smoky. So challenging for us to do air operations on that fire. The good news is the work that our crews have done on the eastern side of that fire is holding. We're doing quite nicely there. We're feeling confident with that. Towards the north, though, we have seen a little bit of growth. Generally speaking, not a lot of growth on most of the fires within the area, but a little bit of growth on the north side of Tautri. So our crews, again, will be working to reinforce those guard lines, build contingencies, and when they can, remove the fuels. Move on to the Baezaeko fire now. Baezaeko has now officially merged with the Bishop's Bluff fire. Sorry, estimated at 180,000 hectares. That piece of fire alone. Focusing on protecting the communities adjacent to it, including Kluskis and Nazco. Those are our priorities, obviously. And we will see some growth on that fire again as the winds pick up and switch around a little bit over the next day as the cold front moves in. Further on to the Kleena Kleene fire, we know that the orders were not removed in that area because we're still seeing some increased fire activity on that. Out in the west, the winds have been active. The fire behavior has been picking up a little. We're seeing columns of smoke on that area. So still working hard in there to protect the community in the highway corridors. We expect very little precipitation out in that area, so folks can see increased fire behavior. Moving on to the Precipice Creek fire, we were very happy to make a recommendation to lift those orders or downgrade them to alert for that area, simply because our crews have done a great job working to protect the community by building guard line again in between the northeastern head of that fire and the highway and the communities. So pretty happy with the work we have going on there, although watching very closely to see what the weather does over the next short term.
Thanks, Mike. And did you have any other final updates for us today?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to people a little bit about how we allocate our resources within the Cariboo Fire Center and how we change our plans on an ongoing basis so that we can be more efficient and manage these fires as they grow and change. And we know that some of these fires have started to merge, such as the Baezaeko River fire and the Bishop Bluffs fire. They're getting very close to the Tautri fire and the Chesapeake fire. So what folks might see over time is a combination of taking all those fires and amalgamating them into one complex of fires. That's something we're contemplating. It's not abnormal. It's things that we do regularly so that we can focus our incident management teams and our resources most effectively on that. So those discussions are happening, and folks should pay close attention to that. Again, if they have questions about those things, they can visit our website, bcwildfire.ca, and look at the Fires of Note page.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Emily.
And if you have any questions about current orders and alerts, and please visit the Cariboo Regional District website. You can see our searchable online map, and you can see basic perimeters of the fires as well as where the current orders and alerts are. So stay tuned for an update again tomorrow.